Nerdbox.
Hey, Fiends. Do you remember Judith Myers? Judith Myers, Michael Myers' sister. She was the one who was his very first victim ever back in 1978. Well, I had the good fortune to host a panel at the Waynesboro Nightmare on Main Street Film Festival with Sandy Johnston. And Sandy is the delightful lady who played Judith Myers. And she has so many wonderful stories, so many wonderful things to chat about. And I think you want to get to know her. So I give you Sandy Johnston. Please join me in welcoming the very first victim of Michael Myers, Judith Myers, Ms. Sandy Johnston.
Thank you.
So have you always been a fan of the holiday of Halloween?
I have always been a fan of Halloween. I have 4 older sisters who used to take me trick-or-treating every year, and they spent a lot of time making my costumes from scratch. So it was just something I was always so excited. And I remember one year Halloween was on a Sunday, and they didn't want people to trick-or-treat, or some people didn't want to trick-or-treat on Sunday or something, so we had it 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and it was like the best year of my life. I got to trick-or-treat for 2 days.
That's almost like better than Christmas.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was so excited when they said they were going to do that.
So how did you get involved with the movie Halloween? How did you find out about the role of Judith?
I started out as a model, and I also had made one film, I think, and my agent called me and said that they were doing interviews for a movie called The Babysitter Murders. So I said, okay, I've been doing comedies, but horror's good. And so I went on the interview. I was interviewed in just a regular house in the Pasadena area, close to where they were filming. And so it was an interesting interview. I read for several parts. They had me scream, and I remember thinking, wow, this is really weird because it's a residential area. It's not like you're in a studio or anything. So I'm screaming, and I just kept thinking, what are the neighbors thinking? But anyway, I then went home, and my agent called me, I think the next day, and said, well, they have cast you as Judith Myers. And I said, yes, yay.
So little did you know that scream would go down in history with the horror genre family.
I had no idea.
Did you have any idea when you were filming what a big thing this was going to be?
No, I really didn't. It was a big time for B movies, so it was just another film that probably would end up at the drive-in. And as it turned out, it ended up a lot of drive-ins, and still, and worldwide. So actually, I didn't know until they found me 2 years ago. I really had no idea that it was an iconic film at all. I had a very busy life and never looked back, and then boom, the present came into my life. My current agent found me, and that's when I found out about Halloween and that I had fans, and it was just like, whoa, this is really interesting. And I'm having a good time.
So fast forward to 2018, which is, I guess, when they would have found you. Was that along the line of to get some of the original footage to use in the newer film?
Actually, there were a number of people looking for me. Blumhouse was one of them. And then there was my current agent and several other people, other agents that had been looking for me for a long time. So for Halloween 2018, they were just about to wrap the film. And when my agent found me, he said, let me get a hold of Blumhouse because they've been looking for you too. And so they said, oh my God, yes, it's in time. So they wanted to use the kill scene at the cemetery in 2018. So it worked out. They wrapped like a week later. It would have been too late. So I got lucky, and they sent us off to the premiere. We got to walk the red carpet. It was just, wow, ton of fun.
All of the years of Judith Myers being a part of you, and you got to walk the red carpet. That is really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I got to walk the red carpet, and I got to go to the big party and see all the people from the film that I hadn't seen in 40 years. So yeah, it was interesting. And then of course my agent, he is a con agent. Funny. You tell people, yeah, I have a con agent, what? But yeah, so he's the one that got me out doing signings and everything, and it's just been the best ever. I'm having a ball. The fans are awesome. The horror community has stole my heart. Yeah, it's been great.
So you are then, from what you say, pretty new to the horror, to the convention scene.
Yes, 2018 was age 40 in Pasadena. That was my very first con, and it was, wow. I'd never even heard of a horror con before I went there, so it was an amazing event. And then when it was done, my agent said, well, a lot of people do cons and they don't really like it or want to do it, or again, you know, what is your impression? I said, hell yeah, let's do this again. I said, this was fun. So I actually I did, I think, maybe 4 or 5 in 2019. And then of course last year I had 7 scheduled and 7 canceled. But this year all of those have come back, so it's going to be a good year.
I agree with that. All of the cons that had been canceled and are now pushing forward, we're ready to get back to them.
Yes, and the fans are very excited about it, so it's good.
I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Does anyone have questions? We'll start with the front row.
Like after you died in Halloween, did you ever feel bad for like the other characters dying and you were like, oh?
No, I don't think so. I knew it was a movie. I had been in drama for a long time, so I knew it was a movie. But the movie did scare me. It's a very scary movie. It still scares me. I don't watch it alone still. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's my perfect kind of movie because it's not super gory, and it's more of a psychological kind of horror, which is my favorite. So yeah, I won't watch it alone. Yes.
Did you have a question? Yes, I thought I saw you raising your hand too.
Yes. So I read a few things, and I know that there was the instance where you had getting some of the makeup off of you, and Jamie Lee was in the trailer and helped out and put you at ease. I also had read that during your kill scene, they didn't want to traumatize the little boy playing young Michael, so there was actually Deborah Hill, whose hand you see. Did that help you as well, knowing that you were in a vulnerable state, you know, with the lack of clothing?
Right.
Deborah Hill there.
Yes, absolutely. She was definitely an advocate for women and actresses, a calming kind of person. So yeah, it was not that there was, I mean, it was a great set. There wasn't anything uncomfortable on the set.
Right.
But it was great to have her, and a little less disturbing than have a 6-year-old stab me, yes. So yeah, that's all true.
Question?
How was it transitioning after doing horror and then going, because you did a lot of television. You did Star Trek. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I know you played one of the female Ferengi, correct?
Actually, no, I didn't do Star Trek.
No?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, I did several films. I did Jokes My Folks Never Told Me, Hot, Gas Pump Girls, and I did Playboy. But I didn't do Star Trek. I would have liked to have done Star Trek.
It's never too late.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. No, according to Wikipedia and some of those, let's see, I was into a cult and I moved to Oregon. And I'm still there, I guess.
Great.
And
Right.
then I was in a Dracula something. So yeah, I've been in a lot of things that I guess I could claim them, but I have never been in a cult. I did live in Oregon for a while though.
If you were approached by any director, pick your favorite director, and to say, we would like you to play this role, at this point, who you are now, not going back, who would the director be and what would the role be?
Wow.
I don't ask small questions.
Yeah, you know, I would love to work with John Carpenter again. He is such a talented man, and since he's involved with with the Halloweens again, it's too late obviously because I'm too old and the film is already made. But I love the granddaughter's role in 2018. I think I would have liked to have played that role. Very cool. So yeah. I do have some directors asking me to be in movies now, but they're not that famous. But I'm excited anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, that's still fabulous.
Yes, absolutely.
Any more questions from the floor?
Yeah, I'll ask one. So I imagine, I've never done film, so I don't know, but you're going on set and it's just normal people, it doesn't, scream, you're gonna die today. So how do you, get into character, knowing you're gonna have to scream for your life and, really get that fear going?
Right. Usually what I do is I think of something, not like I'm about to be stabbed or anything, but I think about something that I have experienced that was terrifying. And I kind of visualize that in my mind. I kind of try and get that feeling for whatever that was. And I just kind of go with that and let that take me there.
Well, you mentioned the Playboy. How did that come about?
Playboy came about because my father was very sick with cancer, and there was a treatment that they had in Mexico. It was called Leotrel. It was made from apricot seeds, and supposedly there had been some benefits from it. So my dad really wanted to go, but we really didn't have the money to do that. So I was told that Playboy paid well. So my dad would have had a heart attack if he knew I did that. So I did not tell him, but I did. I applied to Playboy and they accepted me and they paid me well, and he was able to go to Mexico. Unfortunately, it did not help, but if we had never done it, we would have always wondered if it would have helped. But anyway, that's what brought it about. I had done a lot of modeling. Not nude modeling, but I had been a model, so it turned out to be a very great thing. The Playboy photographers were some of the best on the planet. The set designers were wonderful. It turned out to be very good for that as well as my career. So yeah, it came out of a family matter, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess opportunity happens when you need it to happen, and then sometimes you open the door and make it happen.
Yes, I mean, it was a blessing for sure to be able to do that.
Yes.
You said you would refer to traumatizing or terrifying experiences when recreating a role or creating a role. So my question is, with these being horror cons, there's also a lot of mystery and ghostly types of things. Do you have any experience with haunted things?
I do, actually. When I was probably 14, somewhere between 12 and 14, I don't remember exactly. I was living in California. My best friend, I'm a native Texan, my best friend was in Texas, and I was supposed to be going to see her from California to Texas. And within a couple days, I was very excited about it. And I went to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night screaming, and I went into my mother screaming that Kathleen was dead. And my mother goes, honey, you're having a nightmare. Kathleen's fine, you've been sleeping. I said, no, she came to me and she told me she was dead. And so, of course, my mother just thought I was having a nightmare, but I was hysterical. And the next morning, her grandmother called to tell us that she'd been killed. So yeah, that was a definite one of those that, whoa, because I mean, I was sound asleep and she did. She came to me in the night and she told me. Yeah,
So cool.
yeah, not a good day.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, yeah, that was, we had another one, I was too little to remember, but we lived in Oklahoma for a while. We used to go there and visit. My grandmother lived there. And there was this house that was, they were just farmhouses, big distances apart. And some very good friends had a house up on a hill. And we used to go up there. I remember I had one of those little electric, maybe it was, no, it was before the electric, it was a little paddle car things. I was little. And I remember being up at their house and riding a little paddle car. And starting about, I don't know, I think that was 3 weekends in a row when we were going to church, one of my sisters kept saying that she saw that house on fire. She kept saying, their house is on fire. When we get up there, of course, it wasn't on fire. And on the fourth Sunday, it burned down and killed all of them.
Oh my.
Yeah, so even though I was too young, I just remember them telling me that story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one always gives me chills. Because, yeah, it was a very, very terrible thing that happened. But the only one of my sisters saw the house before.
That is something that would stick with you even if you weren't old enough to remember.
Yes, because I had been up there riding my little paddle car many times.
Well, I guess it was kind of destined that you would get into horror after some experiences like that.
Yes.
Yes, please.
And any show that you've been on, was there like a cast member or a director that you felt very suspicious of, and then they turned out to be a very bad person?
I would say that I did one film, it was called Surfer Girls. It was actually a 3D film. And it was a very uncomfortable film for me to make. The director was inappropriate. They just took it too far. It was not a good experience for me. So that is one I'm glad they don't make it anymore. Because I never even watched it. I don't even know how it came out because it was not a good experience. So yeah, that was the only time. All the other ones I did were lots of fun, and we just had a good time on set.